You don't lose your dreams in one big moment. You lose them slowly, one silent mistake at a time. And the painful truth is this: most people don't even realize it's happening until an entire decade is gone. We grow older, but our patterns stay the same. We confuse movement with progress. We wait for motivation that never comes. We expect fairness from a world that has never promised it. Deep down, you know you were meant for more than the life you've been tolerating. But every year, you repeat the same habits, the same reactions, the same excuses. Your dreams drift one step further away. Stoic philosophy understood this long before we did. It teaches that the enemy is rarely the world outside. It's the unexamined choices inside us. Today, we're going to break that cycle. We'll uncover the 7 life mistakes that quietly steal your potential, your clarity, and your future, so you never waste another 10 years again. Mistake 1: confusing activity with progress. Being busy is the easiest way to feel productive and the fastest way to stay stuck for years. Most people don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they invest effort in everything except what actually matters. We live in a world that praises motion, even if the motion leads nowhere. People answer emails the moment they appear, jump between tasks without intention, and chase a schedule packed from morning to night. It creates the illusion of progress, but illusion is all it is. Busyness becomes a costume, one that hides the truth that we're drifting, not advancing. Stoic wisdom exposes this trap with brutal clarity. Marcus Aurelius asked, "Is this essential?" Because he knew the greatest danger is not in doing too little, but in doing non-essential things with great enthusiasm. When your days are full of distractions disguised as responsibilities, your life becomes full of effort without evolution. You look active from the outside, yet inside nothing is changing. Think of the years you lost to meaningless tasks. You stayed busy managing other people's expectations. You stayed busy filling your time to avoid uncomfortable decisions. You stayed busy performing routines that felt safe but kept you exactly where you didn't want to be. Busyness robs your dreams quietly, not through dramatic failures, but through the slow erosion of your focus and purpose. This is why people cling to activity. As long as you're moving, you don't have to face the heavier questions. What do I truly want? What am I avoiding? What dream have I ignored because it demands courage? Activity becomes a shield protecting you from accountability. It reassures you that you're trying, even when you're avoiding the one step that would genuinely change your life. The hard truth is this: directionless effort is just another form of procrastination. You can run at full speed for 10 years and still find yourself standing in the same emotional, financial, or personal position. Progress is never determined by how busy you are. It's determined by how intentional you are. And intention requires pause, clarity, and uncomfortable honesty. Real growth begins the moment you stop glorifying motion and start practicing precision. One focused hour can outperform 10 hours of scattered effort. One clear decision can shift the trajectory of your entire future. And one courageous action toward your dream can unlock more progress than 1,000 tasks done to impress others. So imagine someone followed you for a week. Would they see a person intentionally building a life, or a person spinning in circles at high speed? The answer matters, because awareness is the first step toward transformation. When you strip away the noise, when you refuse to perform busyness for validation, you reclaim your time, energy, and identity. Progress isn't about how much you do. It's about whether what you do creates a life you actually want. And today, you choose which path you walk. Mistake 2: letting emotions make your decisions. A single emotional reaction can destroy opportunities that took years to build. And the worst part? You usually don't realize it until the damage is already done. Most people believe their emotions are instructions, but Stoicism teaches that emotions are only signals. They are not commands. Yet when fear makes your decisions, you choose safety over growth. When anger makes your decisions, you burn bridges you later wish you'd kept. When insecurity makes your decisions, you shrink yourself to fit expectations that were never yours to begin with. An untrained emotional life silently shapes your destiny more than any external obstacle ever could. Stoic philosophy draws a clear line between an emotion and a decision. Epictetus taught that events don't hurt us, our interpretations do. Your interpretation decides whether you act from clarity or chaos. Without emotional discipline, the mind becomes a puppet pulled by impulses, and decisions made on impulse almost always lead to regret. You've lived enough life to know that your worst choices came from moments when your emotions felt louder than your reason. Think about the opportunities you might have lost. The job you didn't apply for because fear whispered that you weren't ready. The apology you never gave because pride insisted you were right. The relationship you walked away from in anger, only to realize later that temporary emotion stole something permanent. People blame circumstances, timing, luck, but in truth, emotions sabotage far more dreams than circumstances ever do. This is why Stoics practiced the sacred pause, that brief moment where you breathe, step back, and let the emotional storm settle. In that pause, you reclaim your judgment. You separate the event from the story you're telling about it. You give yourself time to choose a response instead of reacting blindly. This pause is not weakness, it's mastery. It is the difference between living on instinct and living with intention. To live by emotion is to live by turbulence. One compliment lifts you, one criticism crushes you, one inconvenience derails your entire day, and when your inner world is that fragile, your outer world becomes unstable too. You can't lead, you can't plan, you can't grow. You're constantly repairing the damage caused by yesterday's uncontrolled reactions. But everything changes when you shift from emotional reactivity to emotional clarity. You begin to notice patterns. You recognize triggers. You stop arguing with people who thrive on chaos. You stop taking things personally because you finally see that most people act from their own wounds, not from wisdom. And suddenly, your decisions become quieter, cleaner, stronger. Emotional discipline doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means guiding them. It means letting your values, not your impulses, have the final say. It means acting like the person you intend to become, not the person your emotions momentarily turn you into. Your emotions were never meant to be your ruler. They were meant to be your messengers. And the day you honor that difference is the day you stop losing your future to a momentary feeling. Mistake 3. Expecting life to be fair. Nothing steals your strength faster than believing life owes you something. And nothing keeps you stuck longer than waiting for fairness that will never come. Most people walk through the world with an invisible contract in their mind. If I'm kind, people will treat me well. If I work hard, I will be rewarded. If I love deeply, others will appreciate it. But the world never signed this contract. Life operates on reality, not on our expectations. And the gap between expectation and reality is where years of disappointment silently accumulate. Stoic philosophy confronts this truth without hesitation. Seneca wrote that life is not unfair, only our expectations make it so. When you assume life should be balanced, predictable, or morally consistent, every setback feels like betrayal. Every hardship feels personal. Every rejection feels like proof that something is wrong with you. But hardship is not personal. It is universal. The difference lies in how you meet it. Think about how many years you lost waiting for fairness. You waited for apologies that never came. You waited for people to change into who you hoped they would be. You waited for recognition that should have been yours, but went to someone louder or luckier. And during all that waiting, life moved forward without you. Fairness didn't fail you. Waiting did. Expecting fairness makes you passive. It convinces you that you are a victim of circumstance rather than a creator of outcomes. You stop taking risks because you think the world is against you. You stop speaking up because you think no one will listen. You stop trying because you think effort doesn't matter. But effort does matter. What doesn't help is expecting effort to guarantee results. There are no guarantees. There are only chances, and people who show up enough times eventually win. Life is not fair, but it is responsive. It responds to discipline, to courage, to persistence, to clarity. It rewards those who act without needing reassurance that the world will cooperate. When you let go of the need for fairness, you gain something far more powerful: focus. You stop wasting emotional energy on should, why me, and this isn't right. You invest that energy into strategy, adaptation, and resilience. Think of the people you admire most. Not one of them became strong because life treated them kindly. They became strong because life treated them harshly, and instead of collapsing, they sharpened themselves. Pain became data, rejection became redirection, hardship became training. That is the Stoic mind at work, converting misfortune into mastery. When you release the belief that life must be fair, you stop negotiating with reality and start shaping it. You stop feeling cursed and start feeling responsible. You stop waiting and start building. The world doesn't owe you fairness, but you owe yourself the strength to rise whether fairness appears or not. And once you embrace that truth, nothing, not people, not setbacks, not fate, can steal your dreams again. Mistake 4. Avoiding discomfort. Every dream you want lives on the other side of discomfort, and every time you avoid discomfort, you move one step further away from the life you're meant to live. Modern life trains us to chase comfort like it's the ultimate prize. Warm routines, predictable days, soft choices. These things feel safe, but safety has a hidden cost. Comfort slowly becomes a cage that looks harmless from the inside. It's cushioned, familiar, and deceptively peaceful. Yet year after year, it shrinks your courage, your ambition, and your capacity to endure anything challenging. Stoic philosophy understood this danger long before the modern world softened us. Seneca taught the practice of voluntary discomfort, the idea that choosing difficulty builds a mind that cannot be broken. A person who trains to face discomfort becomes less afraid of life. A person who avoids discomfort becomes controlled by fear without even realizing it. The things you run from end up running your life. Think of the opportunities you've lost because discomfort intimidated you. The conversation you didn't start because nervousness held your tongue. The project you didn't pursue because you feared judgment. The skill you never learned because being a beginner felt embarrassing. You didn't lose those chances to bad luck. You lost them to avoidance. Discomfort didn't block the path. Discomfort was the path. Avoiding discomfort creates a predictable cycle. You avoid something small. You feel temporary relief. That relief trains your mind to avoid more. Before long, your world becomes tiny. You stay where it's warm, familiar, and emotionally safe. Yet every day inside that comfort zone feels more suffocating. Comfort without growth becomes misery dressed in softness. The Stoics believed discomfort is not punishment, it is preparation. Hardship doesn't weaken you. Your resistance to hardship does. When you choose something uncomfortable on purpose, even something small, you reclaim your power. You tell your mind, I lead, not you. You rewrite the script that fear has been narrating for years. Every time you step into discomfort, your threshold expands. What once terrified you becomes manageable. What once overwhelmed you becomes routine, and the dream that once felt impossible becomes reachable. Look at anyone who has built something meaningful. They did not arrive there by staying comfortable. They endured long nights, uncertainty, embarrassment, failure, repetition, silence, rejection, yet they kept going. Not because they were fearless, but because they trained themselves to act despite fear. Discomfort was their teacher, not their enemy. So ask yourself honestly, is your dream truly out of reach? Or have you just avoided the discomfort required to reach it? Is your potential limited? Or have you simply avoided the environments that would stretch you? Is life holding you back, or are you defending a comfort zone that no longer deserves your loyalty? Comfort keeps you the same. Discomfort changes you, and your dream will never come to someone who refuses to grow into it. Today, choose one hard thing, not because it's pleasant, but because it's the doorway to the future you've been waiting for. Mistake 5. Waiting for the perfect moment. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will wait forever. And while you wait, your dream quietly dies from neglect, not failure. Most people don't lack ambition, they lack a starting point. They tell themselves they'll begin when things settle down, when they feel ready, when they have more time, or when life gets easier. But life never pauses to give you a clear runway. Chaos doesn't disappear. Fear doesn't disappear. Uncertainty doesn't disappear. The perfect moment is nothing more than a comforting illusion that keeps you stuck in the same place year after year. Stoic philosophy destroys this illusion with ruthless clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, you don't wait for conditions to improve. You grow strong enough to act within imperfect conditions. Great lives are not built in ideal circumstances. They are built in messy, complicated, inconvenient ones. Every minute spent waiting for readiness is a minute stolen from your future. Think about how many dreams you postponed in the name of timing. The business you didn't start because the market felt uncertain. The fitness journey you delayed because you wanted the right plan. The personal change you avoided because you feared making mistakes. The truth is simple. Hesitation drains life far more effectively than failure. Failure at least moves you forward. Hesitation leaves you frozen. Waiting feels safe because it lets you imagine a better future without risking anything in the present. But imagination without action eventually turns into regret. You begin to see other people doing the things you wanted to do. You tell yourself they had better luck, better circumstances, better support. But in reality, the only difference was this. They started while you were still waiting. The longer you wait, the heavier the starting point becomes. Days turn into months. Months turn into years, and suddenly, the dream that once felt close now feels unreachable. Not because it was impossible, but because you kept postponing the moment you would take the first step. You weren't defeated, you simply delayed yourself into stagnation. The Stoics believed in forward motion, not dramatic leaps, but deliberate steps. One imperfect attempt is worth more than 1,000 flawless intentions. One small action immediately rewrites your identity. You stop being someone who plans to, and you become someone who is doing. Momentum grows not from confidence, but from movement. Readiness is a byproduct of action, not a prerequisite for it. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, how much longer will you wait for the stars to align? How many more opportunities will you watch pass by while you negotiate with your fears? How many more versions of someday will you repeat before you realize someday is just another word for never? There is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you choose to begin, and that moment, if you're willing, can be right now. Mistake 6. Surrounding yourself with weak standards. Your environment is not neutral. It is shaping you every second, whether you notice it or not. And nothing steals your dreams faster than spending your life around people who expect nothing from themselves and even less from you. Most people underestimate how deeply their surroundings influence them. You mirror the discipline, ambition, and mindset of those closest to you. If your circle normalizes excuses, you'll start believing your excuses are reasonable. If your circle avoids growth, you'll feel strange for wanting more. If your circle laughs at your dreams, you'll slowly shrink them until they no longer threaten anyone. This happens quietly, subtly, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you became the average of people who stopped trying years ago. Stoic philosophy warns about this with surgical precision. Epictetus said, "If you spend time with someone long enough, you will become like them." Not similar, like them. Your standards rise or fall depending on the standards of the people around you. If you surround yourself with the complacent, you will become complacent. If you surround yourself with the fearful, you will learn to fear. But if you surround yourself with those who demand excellence from themselves, you cannot help but rise. Think about the people in your life right now. Who challenges you to grow? Who calls out your excuses with honesty, not judgment? Who treats discipline as a lifestyle instead of a punishment? And then ask the harder question, who quietly drags your potential down? Not intentionally, just through low expectations, low ambition, low courage. Sometimes it's a friend who doesn't get why you're trying so hard. Sometimes it's a partner who prefers comfort over progress. Sometimes it's the group that celebrates escaping responsibility instead of owning it. Weak standards don't always look toxic. They often look harmless, even friendly. They feel warm, familiar, and easy to be around. But easy environments produce difficult lives. Hard environments, those that stretch you, challenge you, and push you, produce strong lives. The people you spend time with determine what feels normal, and if excellence is not normal in your circle, it will never become a habit in your life. Look back at the last 10 years. How many of your dreams were delayed not because you lacked ability, but because no one around you believed in doing something extraordinary? How many times did you lower your pace to stay aligned with people who were not moving at all? How much potential was lost because you settled for belonging instead of growth? There is a painful truth here. You cannot outperform the standards of the environment you remain loyal to. You cannot build a disciplined life in an undisciplined circle. You cannot chase a dream while surrounded by people who fear their own. But everything changes the moment you raise your standards, and your circle must rise with them or fall away. When you surround yourself with people who strive, improve, and stretch themselves, you begin to feel pulled upward instead of anchored down. Excellence becomes contagious, ambition becomes normal, growth becomes expected. Your future is not shaped by your intentions. It is shaped by the standards of the people you allow close to you. Choose wisely, because your circle can either build your dream or bury it. Mistake 7. Living without virtue or inner direction. A person without inner direction isn't living, they're drifting. And nothing steals your dreams more quietly than a life guided by impulse instead of principle. Most people don't wake up one day and ruin their future. They lose it slowly, choice by choice, simply because they have no internal compass. They react instead of reflect. They follow instead of lead. They chase approval instead of purpose. When you have no anchor, the world pulls you in every direction except the one meant for you. Stoic philosophy teaches that a meaningful life begins with virtue. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These aren't lofty ideals. They are coordinates for your decisions. Without them, everything becomes negotiable. You betray your boundaries to avoid discomfort. You abandon your goals for short-term pleasure. You say yes when your soul screams no. You live in fragments because nothing inside you is stable enough to stay true to. Think about moments when you felt lost or directionless. You didn't lack intelligence. You lacked alignment. You knew what you should do, but didn't. You knew what mattered, but postponed it. You knew who you wanted to become, but kept acting like someone smaller, someone safer. When your actions and values don't match, life becomes exhausting. You spend years fighting battles that wouldn't exist if you were simply honest with yourself. And honesty is the hardest discipline. It forces you to admit what you've been avoiding. It forces you to confront your weaknesses without excuses. It forces you to ask, if I continue living like this, who will I become? Most people never ask this question because the answer terrifies them, but avoiding it doesn't save you. It traps you. Living without virtue also makes you vulnerable to the world's noise. You get swayed by trends, opinions, emotions, temptations, and the expectations of people who don't walk your path. You start living a life that looks acceptable on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. And emptiness, when ignored long enough, becomes bitterness, the slow death of a dream. But something powerful happens the moment you choose to live by inner principles instead of outer pressures. Your decisions become cleaner, your boundaries become firmer, your direction becomes clearer. You stop chasing validation because you're no longer uncertain about who you are. You become trustworthy to yourself, and that is the beginning of real strength. The Stoics believed that one day lived fully in alignment is worth more than 10 years lived in confusion. When you act from virtue, you stop fragmenting your energy. You stop betraying your potential. You stop losing yourself for people or situations unworthy of your character. You begin to build a life shaped by intention, not impulse. So ask yourself, what do you stand for? What behavior is no longer acceptable from yourself? What value will you honor today, even if no one sees it, praises it, or understands it? Dreams don't require perfection. They require integrity. And the moment you commit to living from your inner compass, your life stops drifting and finally begins to rise. You've just walked through 7 mistakes that don't ruin your life in dramatic moments. They ruin it quietly, slowly, over years you don't get back. Mistakes like confusing activity with progress, letting your emotions drive your choices, expecting fairness, avoiding discomfort, waiting for the perfect moment, accepting weak standards, and living without inner direction. These aren't flaws in your character. They're traps almost everyone falls into until they finally decide to wake up. But awareness is power. And now you see the patterns clearly. Your next step isn't to fix everything at once. It's to choose one change you will make today. One action, one standard, one shift in direction. Transformation begins with a single decision, followed by consistent steps. The Stoics remind us that we don't rise by wishing, we rise by practicing. Thank you for spending this time investing in your inner world. It means you're not just drifting, you're choosing to grow, to question, to build a life aligned with your highest values. If this message resonated, consider liking the video, sharing it with someone who needs it, and subscribing for more Stoic guidance each week. Until then, stay grounded, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video.